Need to tap into some insights in your own inner knowing, get some validation about someone on your mind? Come sit by me. Let's do this. I'm Kristen. Welcome to my channel. This is all about supporting you in your personal growth and trusting your own inner knowing. We'll take a look at your energy, the energy of someone else, and the combined energy. Take a deep breath. Notice your heart. Notice your body, sitting or standing, wherever it is. All right. Your energy leaving. It's so interesting. I just did a reading and the moving on card came out. Their energy is truth. And your combined energies is fulfillment. So I think on both sides, you're coming to personal truths about what really fulfills you. I feel like this leaving card is leaving behind that which doesn't fulfill you. Coming to the recognition of that which not is perhaps manifesting the way you would like it to manifest. And I think this is coming from you feel like past relationships are in your head. Things that people have said to you in past relationships, it's infiltrating your field. Almost having a looping experience with how things haven't worked out in the past and how that's affecting this present situation. The truth is that this other energy, this other person, knows that there was a very fulfilling connection, a very fulfilling experience with you. It was very intimate. They felt intimate not only emotionally, but physically, psychologically. And there was a place of healing for them in that. A place where they could see a new adventure. You know, like jumping into a new timeline where it comes into relationship, the timeline that is, what do they want, the abundance they want to experience when there are two people in reciprocity. When two people can just sit quietly together and be together, and yet you're having a very deep and full experience, and that is very fulfilling. It's interesting, in both these cards, you see that somebody is lying down. They're having this experience where they need to pause, perhaps in order to discover what really fulfills them in their life in general. It's like they've gone into the inner sanctum. They're closing themselves off a little bit. They're isolating. And you're looking on. It's like one of those looking in the window, from the outside looking in, and seeing and feeling that somebody is perhaps in a deep healing. This feels like deep healing as well. And again, your energy, the energy that you had together, was very much one of healing past situations and seeing where something could be very different. This could also be a father figure or some sort of male or authority figure. Some of you were in relationship with a boss, and that person, perhaps they were above you, and they kind of like, whether it was intentional or not intentional, they made you feel in a relationship like, well, I know more than you. Perhaps they were a little bit older than you. For others of you, I'm feeling like there was a person in your work environment that was trying to connect with you, and it was inappropriate. Perhaps they were married to somebody else, or they just were being inappropriate in nature as to how their behaviors towards you, what they were saying towards you, where It was, again, this person could have been a higher up than you, and there might have been a certain exhilaration of getting their attention, or maybe there was this chemistry, got stuck, like a traumatic experience that gets stuck in the body. And you're healing from that. You're taking the time. And I think that that's why you're coming, it's almost like you're coming into your personal truth as well. It feels like both of you are. But I think this person that you're dealing with, that you're coming in to get some insight about, or feeling that validation of your inner knowing about, it's like they experienced something with you that was very different, that was very bright, that had a youthful expression to it. Perhaps they hadn't had that much fun in a really long time, or what they were experiencing with you was almost like, how you would in your 20s and you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, or you're in your 20s, but it's sort of like a teenage love you had in high school. There was something that playful about it. And in that, it was a very healing experience. I think this other energy is coming to a truth about what they can and can't give right now, because you're here in the energy of leaving. So I think it's going over the past a little bit, trying not to attach too much to it, realizing that you're still healing from certain other experiences, whether they were the ones I mentioned or it's something else that's coming to mind. They are not your past. This person that you're coming to for this reading is not your past. There may be some certain qualities that are reminding you, though, of past, more traumatic situations because of lack of some kind of movement that's making you want to take a step back from it. It's like some disappointment. It's like when you've had this kind of like experience of really being able to just be with someone, be alone with them, just be in each other's inner sanctum in many ways. Like it's like you were experiencing someone that you were wanting to bring into your inner sanctum. There was an experience of that with them as well. And that was very fulfilling for you. And maybe you're wondering just how fulfilling it was for them. Maybe it meant more to you. And that's why there's this grief. Sometimes we have these experiences and we come together and it's always a lesson, but that doesn't mean that it's, it's fun all the time. I'm gonna grab some tarot. Please hit the like button. It's a great way to support me, and it would mean the world. Okay, so this Three of Wands came up in the love reading that I just did. So you might want to take a look at the previous love reading before this one, because it's like examining what you want your world, like what are the choices that you're making that are going to make up your world, or how you're going to walk in the world, or what kind of world you want to walk in. And there is this leaving behind of what hasn't worked for you, and not wanting to put that on someone in your present, regardless of what stage of the relationship it is, what's going on, how long you've known them. That it's not like this experience that we're talking about here today is not a traumatic experience. It may not be, exactly where you want it to be, but it is not a traumatic experience. You're not in danger. There are no red flags other than perhaps feeling that you want to leave. I think that you're very conscious about not making certain mistakes from the past. Perhaps, that kind of push that we do with someone sometimes, where we send out the text because we want to receive the answer, or maybe there's a part of you that just wants to say something to them, and it's like, why don't you get back to me? Or I can support you in this way, or we've had this intimate, fulfilling experience where we can be in each other's truth. I want to continue that, and I want you to share more with me. And sometimes it's appropriate to step up and out and be very direct and to say what you want. But I feel like in this reading here, it's not about giving into your triggers, but maybe just when you're feeling triggered, taking a very deep breath, putting your hand on your heart, lying down, taking a moment, contacting a friend you trust before making some kind of contact that's not going to make sense or isn't going to be very productive in the long run. There's stuff that you don't know with this moon in reverse. There's something that you don't know about how this other person, how they're viewing their past relationships, and how emotional they really are, how burnt they really are, how certain traumas are stuck in isolated area of the body. Maybe some of them are feeling a little bit sick, or they have some sort of physical issues. It's coming from the burdens of how they feel they've had to express themselves, what they felt like they had to be for other people, as opposed to just being themselves. And when somebody is in this process of stepping back and doing their evaluation and doing their healing, and you're kind of just looking at it, I mean, sometimes the only thing to really do is to just let them be in that process. You know more about this leaving. Three of Pentacles, because, you know, you are wanting to work together and create something. You're wanting to take your strengths, their strengths, how they see the world, how you see the world. You're wanting and desiring to come together. To come together and create something that the world sees. Again, this is about integration of a person in your, you know, maybe not daily life, but in a lot of your life. Someone that really wants to connect with you on a daily basis, and it's not a question because they simply just, it brings them joy. And there could be someone this other energy is kind of in this truth of how relationships didn't bring them the ultimate joy. Like maybe it was Fast and Furious, or like a spark that died really quickly, or maybe, you know, people making decisions based on, you know, based on analytics in their head, and maybe like this feeling in their gut. Maybe they had this desire and it was like, okay, let's do this. Or maybe they felt pressured by someone. You know, we've been together 5 years, and if we don't have this kind of relationship or move in together or get married or whatever it is, what will my friends think? What will my family think? As opposed to creating something that was right for them, trying to fit themselves into a certain kind of box and never feeling like they were good enough, and then not being able to make any choices, not being in balance about relationships. I definitely feel like somebody is feeling run down and burnt out, and there may be some physical manifestations of a lot of burdens that they've been through. The Devil is here. Okay, two things about the Devil. These cards are so dark. It looks like the Tower. You know, if it came up, there is this desire to transform, to, regardless of what this other person is doing, to find, like, you know, where you come together in union and something that is manifested in day-to-day life, that you are creating together in accordance to what each one of you needs and what the couple needs. And this Devil energy is a couple of things. And it is about looking at old habit patterns that no longer work for you anymore, that you're looping in, that are negative. Perhaps you really believe that this person is doing that. Maybe you're both doing it. It's human to sometimes get stuck in a loop. Sometimes, you know, we get stuck in a loop because somebody else does. Like their loop is catching. It's like, they're looping and you've got to loop, and maybe they even loop together and they're running like this, like all their negative habits, thought patterns, behavior patterns. And then you get activated by that because that's where they are. Then you kind of go into yours and you think, oh my God, is this another going to be like them from my past? Or am I going to be whatever it is? Like you felt that you were, I always come back with too compromising or too like so aware of what the other person needs and wants. And how can I be flexible somehow and understanding, which are all beautiful things. And I mean, I say these a lot in readings because if you're one of these people that's like this, because I can be as well, it's about sometimes moving that focus, that life force energy on yourself. Not where you don't care, but it has to be a balance, right? Sometimes you really do have to just focus on yourself because you don't want to be on the outside looking in while someone is going through their process. Especially, it can be really hard when we've had an experience like this with someone that kind of catapulted us into a new way of thinking about relationship, or we had a feeling with this person we've never had before. You don't want to forsake it or let it go. But again, it's not about attaching it to that person. You want to, okay, that is something that I want moving forward. And I'm grateful to that experience, regardless of what they're doing. Now, this devil is looking at the shadow side. It's not attaching yourself again to someone. It's not about them. It's about you. And it's about you collecting the experiences of your personal growth and how you're growing and changing and taken experiences that were challenging and alchemized them into having greater resistance, greater strength, clearer thinking, more understanding about what you're looking for, understanding how you want to have a holistic life in every aspect of your life. But this devil energy, and people don't talk about this a lot, it's also this sort of like kick-ass couple kind of energy in a way. It's very lusty, very, because the card can be, it's all about sex. And maybe there was a beautiful experience, an intimate experience that was very life-changing for you, that was very important, to your embodiment and how you connect with yourself as a sensual being. That's great. And then it's not to be attached to that person. It's like, oh, I want it back. Oh, that chemistry, that, It's okay to be attached to something if it's positive, right? It's like, I feel very attached to my cats. They run up in this video all the time. They stick their butts in the camera. They're not here right now. At least my boy does, Nico. I'm attached to them, but it's beautiful. You know what I mean? So there is this desirous need and want to have this very fiery, passionate, sensual expression where that is a very deep and important part of this connection that you want to have. And it's important to recognize that for yourself. And let's just get one more to end this. Just what else about this particular connection? What else do we need to know about this particular connection? Something, okay, so you really got to watch that other reading because Ace of Wands, it was the last card I pulled out on the love reading before this. And then we've got the Four of Pentacles. So this is guarding of the heart. It's also holding on to what you've created in your life, not wanting to get so carried away with obsessions and attachment, worrying about past traumatic relationships and challenges, that you're personally stuck. Maybe what you need to do with this other person is sit in the energy of the joy of what it was and let them do themselves and whatever happens. It's about leaving the window cracked open, unlocked, so that whatever is naturally going to happen is going to happen without letting go of what you're moving forward in your life as a whole, in every other aspect of your life. but because there's something that you want to create. This is a time of really embracing the fire in your belly, that the creative spark. You have an idea of something that you want to do in your life, some project or something around your personal growth, something around changing your life in some way. And you want to keep that energy and that fire, and you want to stoke it for you. You don't want to close down because of an experience, or you also don't want to be affected by somebody else who may be closing down for whatever else they're going through. But in about this connection, and what I said in the other reading too, is that there is something that will spark back up, because there was fulfillment and there was truth. There was real truth, and the truth of how you guys felt together. And there was this fulfillment. There is this energy of something that could spark just a little bit down the road. Now, will you be available for it? Will you have moved on in some other way? That's up to you. And I hope that you'll let me know how it goes when that happens. Thank you so much. I enjoy being here with you guys. Please give me a thumbs up. I'm new here on YouTube, and it would really help. It's a great way to support me if you got something out of the video and you're enjoying it. I love hanging out, and I hope that you will come hang out with me again. And if you want to hang out with me a lot, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and it would be an honor to connect with you more. Until then, bye.